What's up, A to Z Sports Live on a Wednesday? Gonna have a fun show today. I have assigned JT and I a project. I will assign said project to the chat throughout the show because we're talking about the now and how it relates to the future as we navigate through this Titans fired interim coach season. We're gonna have a lot of mix of what feels like off-season topics in the season because there are 10 games remaining in this Titans 2025 campaign, which is a good thing because how can the Titans continue to make their head coaching vacancy more attractive for some of the best candidates that may be out there for this job? We have Cam Ward to discuss. And overall, the theme of today's show is Titans players in 2025 who are key to attract the best head coach for 2026 and beyond. So we'll have a conversation about Cam Ward off the top, and then I will assign the project to the chat that JT and I have been working on for the last, 25, 30 minutes. That was much more difficult than I expected it when I came up with it. So JT, it's going to be fun. Then we'll do trivia to wrap up this Wednesday, as we always do trivia. So welcome into the show, everybody. JT, tell the people what they got to do before we officially get rolling.
Yeah, what's up, A to Z crew? Good to see all of you guys in here this morning. Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, John, Andrew, Titans, Kyle, Corey, and Herndon back today. We'll need you for trivia later.
Yes.
The MVP, the Queen has returned. Good to see you here. Good to see you, Katie. Good morning, everybody. Like you said, we got 10 weeks left.
11 weeks, 10 games.
11,
we do
10
have
games, 11
there is
weeks
a beautiful bye week that's approaching us sooner than it seems.
And yeah, thank goodness. Because I could use a break. But yeah, the way that this team is starting to with the press conferences and stuff, it feels like we have to go pull into some off-season topics because there's nothing really to talk about, it feels like, and this team sure is not giving us a whole heck of a lot to talk about, but we're going to do our damnedest, and we're going to continue to talk about this team because we see all of you in the chat who clearly want to continue to talk about this team, but we need a couple things from you guys. Make sure, first of all, lock in, like the show. Make sure you hit that like button. It goes a heck of a long way for us in the algorithm and all those beautiful things that we know nothing about, but does the work for us sometimes. So hit that like button. Make sure you're also subscribed to the A to Z Sports YouTube channel. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure you like the page, and then also hit that share button. Share it with a Titans fan who wants to talk about who are some of the biggest players that could, move the needle for some of these head coaching candidates. Excited to get into all of that. And with that, Austin, let's get it going.
Yep, let's do it officially. Welcome to the A to Z Sports here live on a Wednesday. I'm Austin Stanley. He's JT Runke. We are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network. We're powered by BTA Sports. JT's rocking the brand new hat, the black hat version. Easton had the white camo version on yesterday. But we go live every weekday morning at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show segment by segment on our Twitter X timeline. Hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more great Titans content. We keep that Titans content great even when the team stinks. Make sure you leave us a 5-star Google review. That goes a long way for our company. Also, I have to thank our sponsors. They make it happen for us, and they help you out. Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process in Lebanon, online at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org. The region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs, the local and online at bartondrury.com. Botero Carts, life is short. The season is long, but life is short. Buy a golf cart at Columbia or in Gallatin. And Window Nation, buy 2 windows, get 2 windows free throughout this month of October. And also don't have to pay anything for 2 years. windownation.com. So you kind of mentioned at the beginning of the cold open here about how the Titans are making it difficult on us to have in-season conversations. So there's been a difference. Brian Callahan was a very open, transparent person behind the microphone at press conferences. Mike McCoy, the interim coach, is not. And then also, I don't know how much you guys care to hear the same things that Denard Wilson has said at the podium on Tuesdays about why this defense can't communicate well in the back end. And we've had these conversations, right? Just like Denard Wilson says, we've had the conversations with the players, yet they keep happening. So as we move forward, I think there's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is we know the head coaching job is open and there's 10 games left. So now we get to say, okay, let's get deep into this roster and find out who stays under, who is likely to stay under the new head coach, with Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker running things in the front office. And then who's going to be basically out of here, who is just biding time and maybe putting things out there on tape for somebody else to employ them in the future. And so, I think, we haven't really talked about coaching candidates yet at all, actually, in the week plus since Brian Callahan was fired, which I think is a good thing because we have so many topics. I have a topic list of a lot of bullet points that is in the group chat between JT, Easton, Ryan, and I that we have a lot of time to get through. But I think it's how attractive is this job going to be? So we do get 10 games in 11 weeks to look at this roster and find out what are the attractive pieces and who are the pieces that we all need to keep an eye on and watch their development throughout, because it's been ugly. They're 1-6. They're terrible, but how can they show improvement within the margins, within these games, to attract a coach that can be somebody who can come in and flip this thing around with some of the young pieces they have, because they do have young pieces. And so we're going to start this with Cam Ward, because when I assigned the project to the chat that JT and I have been doing for the last hour, Cam Ward is removed from the project because we're having a conversation about him now. And so we're just going to ask this question straight out of the gate. And JT, I'll let you throw this in the chat. I might come up with a YouTube poll breakdown for this. How attractive is Cam Ward right now to a potential Titans head coach candidate on a 1 through 10 scale? How attractive is Cam right now? Because Jake says Cam is attracted to coaches and free agents. That's Jake's opinion. I think there's going to be a lot of difference of opinion because the reality is Cam Ward has struggled. He's only got 3 touchdown passes in 7 games. And the Titans will have a fairly high draft pick, which means Cam's not, it feels very strongly likely that he's the quarterback next year, but it depends on who the head coach is. And so he has 10 more games to add to his resume, max, to make himself more attractive for a future coach or less. But where is he right now? And so how attractive is Cam Ward to a potential Titans coaching candidate right now? So I'll put that question out there in the chat for a YouTube poll. I'll see I can split up a 1 through 10 scale with 4 options on a poll. But JT, there's plenty of numbers flying in here from the chat on Facebook and YouTube. So I'll let you hit those up, and then we'll keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, Kendall kicks us off here and says it's an 8. Johnny says 9.5. Terrence says 7. Vanessa says 8. Curtis says 9. Daniel says Cam is an 8. Jake says 9. Clayton with a 4. Guy Man says 7. Mike Bell says 8 to 10. Cap says 7. Titans Kyle says 7.5. Kendall, correct me if I'm wrong, but Kendall went from an 8 to now an 8.5 in the span of 30 seconds. So I don't know what changed there. Will says 7. Curtis says JT is about to say something negative, which, all right.
Are you?
We'll see.
Yeah,
Stay tuned. Alan says solid 7. Bustin' Diamond says 7.5. Elk says 6. He's a rookie, so can mold, but has turnover issues with no one around him. Darius says about an 8. Bearded says 7 tops. He is losing his shine quickly. And next to, which is why I was smirking earlier, because I'm not going to fall for it again, but I don't think it's a coincidence that these two came in both at the same time. Not going to say them. Corey says 5. Depends on the coach. Some like projects. 6.5. Yeah, so Orlando says 6. Christian says 5.7922. I would love to know how you've calculated that one out, Christian. Wes says 10. Jack says 2 out of 10. I wouldn't want to touch a Reclamation quarterback with a 1,000-foot pole if I were a new head coach. Darren says 7. Jason says 10. Jason says 8.6. Brian says solid 4, too many mistakes.
All right, I'm going to favorite the comment that Jack had about the Reclamation project with a 1,000-foot pole. So we'll come back to that here in a little bit. So I have a YouTube poll ready to hit start on. So I want to get JT your thoughts on this in the chat. If you have any opinions on how I can shuffle this around, let me know. So how attractive is Cam Ward to a potential Titans head coaching candidate right now on a 1 through 10 scale? I get 4 options to cut up 10. So the first option is 1 through 3.9. Second option is 4 through 5.9. So kind of like that middle. Then you have a 6 through 7.9, and then you have an 8 through 10. Does that feel pretty good?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that, right? Because I do feel like that's a pretty fair split of like, you think he is a negative, you're kind of in the middle, you're kind of like above average, like he's a solid but not like a slam dunk, or like, yeah, this guy is a big attractive piece for a new coaching candidate. So that poll is out there now. So you can vote on that 1 through 3.9, 4 through 5.9. Then you have a 6 through 7.9 or an 8 through 10. So there's a lot of ways. The votes are flying in. The bars are bouncing up and down on the YouTube poll. That's a good thing. So we'll let that continue to mature. And again, more comments rolling in here. On a scale 1 through 10, how attractive is Cam Ward to a potential Titans head coaching candidate right now? I'm going to address Jack's comment again about the Reclamation project because there's something to completely debunk what Jack said that we're watching right now in this NFL season. And then JT and I will give our answers and we'll continue rolling on here. But first, JT, talk about our friends at Botero Carts.
Yeah, Botero Carts. Life is short. Got to buy that golf cart. And when you do finally buy that golf cart, because life is indeed short, you got to do it with our friends over at Botero Cart. 0% financing for 36 months. Carts starting at just $6,700. They're open 7 days a week with a full service sale and rental dealership, which is locally owned and operated with 2 locations to serve you here in the Middle Tennessee area, one in Gallatin and their new location in Columbia, Tennessee. No dealer fee, no credit card fees. So no hidden fees that are going to sneak up on you when you buy your shiny new golf cart. And it is shiny and new because they're stored indoors for your satisfaction and convenience. No credit needed option as well if you want to take that route. So many great options and so many ways to buy your new golf cart because life is short. You got to do it with our friends over at Botero Carts.
BTA Sports, you can download the BTA Sports app and get a 14-day free trial. Normally it's 3 days. We're giving you 14 free days to be smarter at sports betting and with daily fantasy football to help you out there. So I highly suggest this. It does not matter what state you're in. It does not matter what sports book you use. BTA Sports will help you beat the books because they are on our team. They're against Vegas too. So download the app. You get all the different models, projections, lines, player props, totals, all the things right there. But a 14-day free trial is an incredible option for a weekly subscription. So you can get BTA Sports for 3 weeks and all you pay is $9.99, or you just don't have to pay the $9.99 if you don't like it. But my results tell you that you will get your money back with how much more you're going to win because BTA Sports works. It's really good information and really great data. So download the app today for a 14-day free trial. How you do it, you click the link in our Facebook title, the YouTube description, or use the code ATOZ14 when you download the BTA Sports app right there. So JT, the question that we're rolling through here is how attractive is Cam Ward to a potential Titans head coach candidate right now on a 1 through 10 scale? We will get back to the YouTube poll results to let them go because they're just about 3 minutes old. But Jack had this 2 out of 10. I wouldn't want to touch a Reclamation QB with a 1,000-foot pole. Usually it's a 10,000-foot pole, especially if you're in the Grinch. But it's still Halloween season, not there quite there yet. If I were a new coach, now what I immediately thought of is, Ben Johnson has been the hottest was the hottest head coaching candidate name out there for a few years as the Lions offensive coordinator, as Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, the David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, two-headed running back monster with Sam Laporta and others, right? Good, like they were putting up numbers. And as the Lions were just destroying a lot of the NFC over the last few years, and Ben Johnson waited. He waited for Caleb Williams, a first overall pick who had a really tumultuous rookie season where his head coach was fired on Black Friday after Thanksgiving embarrassment. And so far, I mean, the Chicago Bears improved. They're the only team. They're the only team in the NFL that has scored 21 points or more in every single game this year. And so, yeah, Ben Johnson, who this team was interested in, I don't think he was interested in them at the time, like if I remember correctly, when Callahan was in the process of being hired too. But Ben Johnson was a hot name, big name, was wanted by a lot of people. And so I don't necessarily think that's the case, Jack, because there's a lot of talent with Cam Ward. We all see that. It just has to be utilized the right way. So any thoughts on my response to Jack's comment about the not wanting the reclamation, and does Cam Ward count as that reclamation?
Yeah, I was going to say, first of all, I don't know if Cam exactly is a reclamation project
just
yet.
Yeah.
Just yet. I mean, yeah, it becomes a reclamation project, in my opinion, when you get past year 2. Like, and then you figure out what's going on after that. Like, I think that's where the reclamation project type thing comes from. Also, Ben Johnson, I think, is a very interesting case because he knew that he was going to be the hottest commodity on the market if and when he decided to go. And that's why he kind of played his cards like that. I don't know right now off the top of my head. And as I continue to look through the head coaching search, first of all, I don't think there is another guy like that out there right now because of the, maybe Brian Flores, but
there's not a guy currently that has said, "No, I'm good." Like that is like turned down some opportunities for an off-season cycle or two, like Ben Johnson did.
Yeah, that's fair. I think when you get to the head coaching cycle, it's going to be all the guys who are, ready to go right now. It's not going to be like, you won't go into this cycle thinking, will he decide to get in, throw his hat in the ring? Won't he type thing? Like that won't happen. So there'll be a bunch of options out there. However, I think with mine, and I guess if we want to get just into my answer now.
Well, I'll just, before you do that, Johnny comes in here and says, Liam Cohen took the Trevor Lawrence reclamation. Good coaches do it all the time. I think that the end of that is good coaches do that all the time. Because good coaches have a big ego because that's part of the build. And so, yeah, like I think good coaches do that because like I see where the other guys whiffed. I see where I can come in and take what he does well and build on that. So, so there's that for sure. So I don't know. Do you want to jump in here and give your answer? So again, the question being, how attractive is Cam Ward right now on a 1 through 10 scale to a potential Titans coaching candidate?
Yeah, I Corey was right, or I forget who said that. I'm Curtis. Sorry, is
You're
right.
About to say something negative?
I'm not going to say something negative, but I do firmly believe I'm in that middle range. What was it? The 3.9 or 3 to
so 4 through 5.9?
Yeah, 4 through 5.9. I believe I'm in that middle range because I do ultimately, as much talent as Cam Ward has, I think it does take 2 to tango here in terms of like it takes, once again, Cam Ward is only going to be attractive to the coaches that want that type of quarterback, right? We're going to end up in another cycle in which the head coach and the quarterback and the GM we're not put in place at the same exact time. We're going to do this once again. And
do you think Cam Ward will eliminate or we'll have some coaches take their hat out because the quarterback's already there that they have to inherit.
I think it's
Potentially.
I think it's a possibility, and I think that's why it's a little tricky, right? Because the talk so far has been, if you want to take the Tennessee job, you have to love Cam Ward. Like, I don't see a way in which a coach takes this job thinking I can work around him or I can make this team work with him as not the driving force, right? And I think that's a hard thing. Like, if the next head coach of this team is going to be 10 out of 10 attracted to Cam Ward and what his physical tools are,
for
I
sure.
think that's like, in terms of the head coaching landscape as a whole, I'm not sure it's as attractive because, once again, it's not it's you're going into a thing where all the pieces, quarterback, GM, head coach, are not aligned, and you're kind of restarting this thing. And so I think it is going to yet again be kind of like a Brian Callahan situation where you're bringing in a guy who believes in the quarterback and is going to then make it work again. And so I just don't know, in the grand scheme of things, like, is Brian Flores the guy that, like, brings in to be a head coach with experience and leadership, and he's more so like, yeah, Cam Ward is fine and we'll make it work? Or is he a guy that, despite being a defensive minded guy, says, I love Cam Ward, like, this is a guy that we're going to build a staff around because we really believe in him? Like, I think that's the hard thing to kind of piece out.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. I'm not going to give my opinion yet, but my thoughts on what your opinion here is. Callahan liked the Will Levis traits, right?
Yes.
But what Callahan did not know, because he did not have the opportunity to know, is the between the ears of Will Levis. Because when he was in Cincinnati, they have Joe Burrow. They weren't doing their homework on that quarterback class the way that a lot of other teams were, because they didn't have to. And so they didn't do the digging to find out the between the ears or the mindset of Levis. And so you just look at Levis as a product of like, oh my gosh, there's the arm, the athleticism, the build, the talent that is there. I got that. I can do that. And then you learn more once you get your hands on him. With Cam Ward, I think there's all that stuff, but there's been so much talked about publicly about Cam Ward's mindset, his mentality, all those intangible things, that I think somebody from the outside that was in a Brian Flores situation where the Vikings weren't doing Cam Ward homework in the draft because they just drafted JJ McCarthy, and they, but you hear enough about Cam Ward, the person, to be good with it or not good with it, one or the other, right? So I think that's a good thing for the Titans overall, is that you don't have to have that surprise of like, oh man, Levis isn't like cool and composed in the moment. Oh, oops, I didn't know that, kind of thing, So I think I get you on that. So your answer, what's your? I know what poll option you would pick,
and that's why I'm kind of in the middle there, because, like, if you ask me straight up, how attractive is Cam Ward, like, just as a player to any coach? Like, if a coach can bring in, like, the traits alone, I think are worth like a 7 probably. Like, I think that's where I am. It's just with the tenure of this team, like, you have to know you're going in fully believing in Cam Ward. Like, you're signing up as the head coach, fully expecting your next 3 to 4 years to be with Cam Ward, and there's no other thought. There's no second thoughts.
Okay, so like you as an individual will be a 7, but because you're having to kind of knock it down a peg because you think it might eliminate some people, you're going to go, let's just say 5.9, because that puts you on the high end of that slot, right?
Yeah.
So you're not a 6, but you're over the fence. You're on the positive side of the fence. So my answer is going to be a 6.5. I think I agree with your philosophy. I do. There are probably some pretty good coaching candidates out there. There's some good head coaches that don't want to be in the situation where they did not pick the quarterback. And I'm really curious to see what type of person that is. Is that a second-time head coach? Because there's not a lot of people they get 3 opportunities to be a head coach. So if you're a previously fired head coach who wants another shot, are you going to take a shot at a quarterback that you were not involved in picking? Because if you get fired from your second one, odds are that's it.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote. Now, there are some people that have had a third, and the Titans might be looking for somebody who it would be their third. But we're not here to talk about so Brian Flores, because that's been brought up quite a bit. Is this his second and last shot? If he is iffy on Cam Ward, does he take his last and second shot on that? I don't know. That's a curious aspect of this entire process. So, but I'm at a 6.5. I think Cam Ward has 10 more games max to improve that number or to drop that number. Because earlier somebody was like, didn't Caleb Williams throw for 20 touchdowns as a rookie? Yeah, he did. They threw the ball a lot. But Caleb Williams also had, as a rookie, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet,
Rome Odunze, rookie.
Well, I was going for the veteran options, right?
Sure.
Like the veteran guys that were able to help him through.
Andre Swift.
Yes. And so on top of a top 10 rookie wide receiver in Rome Odunze too, where Cam's got Calvin Ridley currently hurt, Van Jefferson, Tyler Lockett said, peace out, I'm out of here. And they said, yep, sounds good. And then you've got all these rookies and Chig. So there's just not those dudes that are going to help Cam Ward throw for a lot more touchdowns, because he's only at 3, and he got throw a lot more touchdowns. It's really
he would need to have that Will Levis or a couple of those Marcus Mariota rookie games. 4 touchdown games to get there.
I mean, if Cam gets to 20, that would be a wild end of the season compared to where.
Do you have his stats up real quick? Do you have them?
I can.
His touchdown to interception ratio right now is.
Oh, it's definitely in the negative. I believe. Sorry, ESPN.
I feel like it's like 3 to 4.
That sounds accurate. Oh, I got it right here on my phone. I know it's 3 touchdowns. Man, why? Whenever I need something, it just decides not to. He is. I'm sorry, 4 to 5. I forgot the David Martin Robinson touchdown.
Yes.
4 to 5. 4 to 5. He's got 4.
Yes. So, hey, we're one step closer to that 20. But I just think that's very interesting, because where we are right now, I remember coming on the show in the preseason, and this chat was like, if it is not 20 touchdowns to 12 interceptions, that is a failure for Cam Ward this season. And to say we are now here at 4 and 5, and people are saying we got to give him more time, he's gonna figure it out.
He's averaging 193 yards per game passing, 4 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, sacked 30 times in 7 games, which they got better at that, and then they stopped getting better at that and going the other direction. So there's a lot. I mean, I don't know what that's over 4 sacks a game, and he's got 10 games left. You're talking about getting 70 sacks, sacked 70 times is what he's on pace to do. That's pretty crazy. It's not great right now overall. So, all right, let's go ahead. The YouTube poll. So the YouTube poll results currently, the options of how attractive is Cam Ward right now to a potential Titans head coach candidate. Currently, the 1 through 3.9 out of 10 has 12% of the vote, so the lowest. 4 through 5.9, and JT, we've put you at 5.9, so you're on the high end of that second one. Is 18% of the vote. Second lowest. 6 through 7.9, where I land is a 6.5, is at 41% of the vote, and then 8 through 10 is 29%. So I think for Titans fans, the good thing is 70% of the vote is 6 or higher. So overall, Cam Ward is an attractive piece for the next Titans coaching search. And you're using that as a positive, because we're about to get to the other positives. And this is the project that now JT and I will ask you guys that was a lot more difficult than I think we had expected before we started it. So now, JT, if you want to throw this in the chat again, we'll do that. Because JT and I have our answers. We'll roll through them. Who are the 5 most attractive Titans players outside of Cam Ward for this future head coach? Who are the 5 outside of Cam Ward for this next coach? And so, JT, you just threw that in there. We'll curious to see where this goes. But first, JT, tell everybody about the Bone and Joint Institute.
Yeah, the Bone and Joint Institute, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedics and sports medicine. Got my first view of the Bone and Joint Institute, which I now call Hogwarts because it's insane. Like, how is that building that big? Right.
They also use magic to help heal your injuries.
This is true. This is true. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know who to trust. That's why we trust the Bone and Joint Institute, which is located in Franklin, right off 65, with over a dozen specialists who can help you through any type of injury. They have a state-of-the-art rehab facility on campus to help your recovery. And that is everything under one roof for your convenience, whether that's the clinic, testing, imaging, surgery, or rehab. They've got it all. Don't fumble your recovery. To schedule an appointment, go to boneandjointtn.org.
Also, don't forget BTA Sports. Download the app. Get a 14-day free trial. I have not quite looked at the upcoming slate yet for the NFL, but I do know that you got Carson Wentz again on Thursday night as the Chargers, who need a win, going up against Carson Wentz and the Vikings. Probably a good time to pick the Chargers in some way. Carson Wentz interception numbers are probably good there. So BTA Sports can help you be a better sports bettor. Download the app today using our link in our Facebook title or the YouTube description right where you're watching, or download the app and use our code ATOZ14. That way, a 3-day free trial turns into a 14-day free trial. Once again, ATOZ14, or the links on the Facebook title and the YouTube description right there for BTA Sports. So just ask the chat here, who are the 5 most attractive Titans players outside of Cam Ward for the future Titans head coach? Yeah, this was not easy.
No, I was going to say, it's not easy. And I think I'm seeing a lot of answers here in the chat that I just don't agree with. Like, so, not because I understand, like, a lot of you guys like them, but a lot of these players, I think in the long term, are non-factors for a head coach in terms of like moving the needle.
Okay. So do you want to start with, because I have no idea who your 5 are. Yes. You don't know who my 5 are. So I'm trying to think, like, do we need to read comments right now? Because that would also maybe spoil some of our 5. Or should we start with like our list and then go to the comments simultaneously?
Okay, let's do that. Let's go with our list first.
So all right, I'm gonna step out on a limb here.
Okay.
Jeffrey Simmons is atop both of our lists.
Yes.
Okay.
Jeffrey Simmons is number 1 for me with 2 years left of control.
Number 1 for me. So basically, if you are Chad Brinker, who is leading this head coaching search, the first 2 things you're bringing up are Cam Ward and Jeffrey Simmons.
Certainly, especially if you're looking at
current things that you have.
Yes, if you're looking at a guy like Robert Saleh, you're looking at a guy like Brian Flores. If you're looking at those types of coaches, the first thing you have to say to those defensive guys who are getting the best out of maybe not not a world beater defense in terms of talent wise on both of those. The Vikings have some good pieces, but aren't as good as they were last year. San Francisco is doing it without Joey Bosa, Fred Warner, and several others because the injury plague just comes for them all like it's Final Destination over there in San Francisco. Like the first thing you say to them is think about what you can do with not only obviously the top picks where you might be targeting an edge rusher might be very intriguing, but also pairing that with a guy like Jeffrey Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is the number 1 like pitch right there, in my opinion.
Yeah, Troy says Simmons is too easy of a pick. Yeah, well, the other 4 are going to get tough because like I was going through it. I'm like, because whenever we get to, I don't know, maybe as soon as 3 on our list, there's a lot of questionable, I think, to get to. So I'll let you start. Who is number 2 on your list?
Number 2 for me, and this is how funny this list is and how, this exercise really tells me that, man, this is like the second season in a row where we were like, they finally got to another player acquisition cycle. They're starting to build more pieces, and now we're mid-season. We're like, they have nothing. They have nothing.
Yeah.
My second is Peter Skoronsky. Like, I think he is a sound piece of that offensive line that is going to need a new contract soon, but this is a guy who I think is starting to get closer to that all-pro level of guard. That is a guy who is a mainstay on a team for 10 years or so. He brings, I think, a calm presence in the locker room and in that offensive line room that you need. And I think his development has been very good in that aspect. So from a leadership perspective, I think the right type of new head coach can really get the most out of him. I think he is one of those building blocks that they have to continue to build on the offensive line. And so, like, spoiler alert, my next one is going to be JC Latham. Like, I teetered back and forth between like putting Peter Skoronsky and JC Latham as one in terms of like the next best thing that you can say is like we have a semblance of an offensive line. Like the pieces are slowly coming together there if we can develop them more. But Peter Skoronsky is my 2 because
Peter Skoronsky is also my 2. So that's good because he is becoming a staple in your offensive line stable of somebody you can actually count on from week in, week out. Correct. So I think Jeff and Peter Skoronsky, now you're talking about, here's the problem is those 2 players are not at like the biggest value positions.
No, not at all.
D tackle, like having a dominant D tackle is a great thing to have, yes. But it is not a premier position in the NFL. It's maybe a second tier premier position in the NFL. And guard absolutely is not either. We know that. But it's, you've got it. So you've got to pitch what you've got. So you say JC Latham is your 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
He is not on my list.
Really?
I don't know. Like, as of right now, you don't know enough.
Certainly. I think the tools are there. And I think that's enough to sell a coach on. Listen, I understand that the JC Latham should maybe move to guard conversation has happened a lot so far this season. I think it is kind of premature and foolish to say that has he played a full season? Because he was hurt last year for a second, right?
He played all the games last year.
He played all of them last year? Okay.
Left tackle.
Certainly this year it has not been the same. But like last year, his development, we saw this with Peter Skoronsky as well. Like Peter Skoronsky really did not become the player we're talking about now until end of year 2, early year 3, right? In my opinion. Because he missed basically the entire beginning of his year 2, like we are still so early on that track of where JC Latham's development is in terms of live game action. And so from my point of view, I'm bringing this as for a new head coach, JC Latham, whether he plays at right tackle for the rest of his career, whether he switches, he's going to be on that offensive line and be at least a consistent level / plus offensive lineman on that line that you need to have yet another stable guy on that offensive line. Whether it is the right tackle, whether it's right guard, like I think he's going to get there at some point in his career. And so okay. I think it's important to have at least 2 of your guys on the offensive line figured out. So that's why I put him up there as well, because I think it's important for the offensive line is important because the one guy who trumps all the other guys on our list right now, Cam Ward, those 2 guys are directly responsible for helping him succeed. And so I think that is more important than any other position you could really pitch to a new head coach.
Yeah. So I favorited a handful of, or actually almost like 24 comments from you guys of 5 players, and JC Latham has made lists, but he is not made. He is not like a regular on the list of fives, and I think that's fair because JC Latham right now, as somebody, Zach Garinger, JC trending down. I just think right now he's in the middle of a let's wait and see.
Certainly.
So that's why I'm not putting JC Latham on Cam Ward +5 or Cam Ward and Jeff +4 players who you are selling your coaching candidates to. I just don't like, I like JC. I'm not out on JC Latham. I just think right now I need to wait and see. Is he fully healthy? Is he still dealing with a little bit of the hip stuff? And here's something that we just don't know. What was JC Latham doing while recovering from his hip injury? How sedentary was he? I don't know. I really don't know.
I think Easton pointed this out on Twitter yesterday. It's like for a guy who's 320 pounds, when you're not able to, when you get all the way to that football shape, and then when you're about to play the games, immediately have to stop for 4 weeks. It's gonna take some time. Like I saw someone say, like, yeah, JT Peter Skoronski took that long because he had the appendectomy. Like,
Yeah.
JC Latham's gonna take just as long because the NFL's like coaches and staff all around the league, during his pre-draft process, now with Bill Callahan, when he was here, and like the rest of the offensive line coaches were like, JC, you probably need to lose some weight if you're going to play on the outside still. And so he did that. And then he didn't get back to football for 4 weeks. And like, I still think that's ongoing because we saw that last year. His weight was a problem towards the end of the season. And that's why he didn't look as good as he did at the beginning of the season. And so now we felt like he's going to go into this season looking pretty good at that weight and has not been able to play at that weight yet because of, not being able to be in football shape for the last 5 weeks.
Yep, 100%. So I'm going to wait and see on JC Latham. Again, I'm not out on him. I'm just thinking in this exercise of pitching candidates, he's not involved in my 5 plus Cam, or Cam Jeff +4, which is his turn. Cam, Jeff, Peter Skoronski +3. So as we're having a lot more things line up here. So, all right, we'll get to some more comments that you guys have here in a second as we continue to roll through our list. I will give you who is third on my list here in a moment. But first, I want to tell you guys about my new friends at Window Nation. WindowNation.com. You can buy 2 windows, get 2 windows for free. You go to WindowNation.com for your free estimate. You can have Window Nation come to your home and have the presentation be done. Find out what windows you currently have, what those windows are doing for you. The windows that are at my house are a negative when it comes to our bills. They struggle, the windows themselves, because they're builder grade windows. They're the old metal windows. They've been here for a long, long time. They are costing us money. They are not keeping the temperature inside the house that we want it to be inside the house. They're letting the outside affect it. And so we all know that with the hot summers. We're about to know that with what this winters can be in Nashville, wet, cold, all different types of things, up and down, all over the place. But Window Nation is going to upgrade my home and just how we live inside of our home. The value of our home, the aesthetics of our home, everything about that. And they do a phenomenal job with their presentation. And with this incredible deal right now, you're going to save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Buy 2 windows, you get 2 windows free, and you don't have to make a payment for 2 years. It's a great deal. They'll be playing football in that new stadium. It's also attractive to this head coaching search as well. And then you start paying for your windows. So check them out online at windownation.com.
Yeah, can the stadium count as a player? That'd be nice.
No.
Shout out to our friends also at BTA Sports. BTA Better for Better. You use the code ATOZ when you download the BTA Sports app to get a 14-day free trial before a weekly subscription of $9.99. Use the link in the show description or right below that title on Facebook to download the app and take advantage of that 14-day free trial. Smart bets and no guesswork with BTA.
All right, so the third player on my list, as we're going through outside of Cam Ward, 5 Titans players that are most attractive to a coaching candidate. Currently, JT and I both have Jeff Simmons and Peter Skoronsky. You have JC Latham as your third. I don't have JC Latham as on my 5, as I just walked through my wait and see thought on him. The third player on my list is Gunnar Helm, the rookie tight end. Because I think you have to find somebody, as you put out earlier in the show when we talked to Cam, you have to find a coach who is all in on Cam Ward. And I think Gunnar Helm makes Cam Ward's life a lot easier and makes the offensive coaching a lot easier, because Gunnar Helm is a do-it-all type of tight end. He's got to improve in blocking. He's young, but I think the way how soft his hands are, his feel for the game is more like a veteran. The way you can utilize him and the way he can be just a cheat code and kind of the safety blanket for the quarterback, but also do a lot of different things formationally. I think Gunnar Helm is a big time sales piece. And this is a buying low to sell high, because it's not like Gunnar Helm's out there putting up stats. Nobody's putting up stats right now. But if you're talking about a new coach coming in here, you're trying to project this. Who are your playmakers? Who are your key pieces to go to on third and whatever for the next 2 to 3 years that you're building on? Gunnar Helm is that. So he's my third.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I like Gunnar Helm. I don't know how much of a needle mover he is for me.
He's also a culture guy.
Certainly, he can be a culture guy. Listen, I think that's one where I still need to probably see a little bit more from that. We've seen it in like 2.5 games, and some people in the chat are like, and I think he's developing well, because like I was going to say, some people in the chat are like, well, Gunnar Helm can't block. Gunnar Helm can't do that. Like Gunnar Helm on that touchdown pass for Cam Ward looked pretty good in pass block on that one-on-one. I mean, listen, yeah, I mean, Curtis says like Gunnar Helm can turn into like the next Travis Kelce, or like another one of these day 3 tight ends, like a George Kittle, or one of these guys who's like right around that 100 pick mark that can turn into a guy who is a star for your team, then absolutely. But I think that is going to continue to need to see development here down the stretch. And I hope for your sake that like that does happen, but it's hard for me to see him be such a factor going down the stretch here. I think he's going to be a helpful tool for Cam Ward, but not like the guy, you know?
I think Gunnar Helm has a chance to be I don't know, tight ends are plenty.
Like,
there's would
you say like he's like he has the potential to be like a Dalton Schultz type?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, easily. Like I think Gunnar Helm has a chance to be a foundational piece of the offense, of how the offense operates.
Sure. Like I think he has the chance. I need to see more of it though.
And I think here's the problem, JT, that I think you and I both recognize. When you're going through the roster and you're trying to pitch a head coach on this current structure of the offense, you don't have a lot of options. Like, how many people on the offense are you like, that's a foundational piece of this offense for years to come? That's why this is a hard exercise, because you don't have a lot to pick from. So I have Gunnar Helm as my third player. Who do you have as your fourth player?
Yeah, this is it got a lot harder. And now that like I'm making fun of you, or not making fun, but like saying Gunnar Helm, really, like you're probably gonna come back and say like mine here is gonna be like, you're gonna be like, really? And that's, I guess that is, this argument, or like this this
that's the spot
entire thing is like, man, I guess you could just really throw anybody out because of how depleted this roster is. I'm going to go with Cedric Gray as the guy that I think you can, if you're looking at and certainly he's on a hot streak of playing some pretty well-rounded football, has shown a lot of leadership over the past 2.5 weeks. Certainly when talking in the locker room and post game, like I've been very impressed with him there. I believe right now in terms of PFF, and I understand that PFF is, kind of getting put through the woodshed the past couple of weeks in terms of what people think about them. But he's graded as like a top 10 linebacker in the league right now in terms of PFF grading and stuff like that. And it's because I think, maybe the coverage isn't there, but he turns it up when it counts, and he makes plays, and he's making a lot of them. I think this is a guy that you can sell to maybe a defensive minded head coach, or that head coach can bring in, say, if you want to bring one of your guys that you trust can maximize this guy, like certainly like you look at a Robert Saleh, you look at a Brian Flores, guys who are currently working with maybe not the best linebacker talent. Certainly Brian Flores took Ivan Pace Jr. from a UDFA to an integral piece of that defense. Obviously that kind of has mellowed out, but like he's been getting a lot out of those linebackers. Like if you bring in a defensive guy like that, one of the pieces I think you need to sell to those guys is like, we have a linebacker in Cedric Gray who's super young, has the potential to be green dot, and can be a young staple of this defense for years to come.
We agree again. Cedric Gray is the fourth guy on my list. I also think he was like a 2-time team captain at North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that going for him. And I think you need, if you pick an offensive guy as your head coach, like they want to know, all right, there's another stable piece in the second level of the defense with Jeff, right? So, all right, I've got something there. I've got a pillar. You need a pillar in the defensive front, the middle, and the secondary. And I think you can look at the way Cedric Gray is performing. He is on his way to becoming that middle of the defense, that second level pillar for this defense for the future. So he's young. He's second year. He's got contract control. He's not expensive. He's a 4th round pick. So I definitely think Cedric Gray is worthy of being a selling point of the future in this exercise. All right. You want to go with your 5th, and we'll get to some comments?
Yeah, I can get to my 5th. And this one is, once again, like I'm going to keep a lot of players off this list because of this one is a pure, like you're betting on the potential, but I think Kevin Winston Jr. can turn into a guy that if you have a defensive head coach, or you have another guy, like you just said, like we have a couple staple pieces that are going to be around for a little bit now, like Kevin Winston Jr., I think next year kind of turns into that guy next to Amani Hooker that can, you have your safety duo set for the foreseeable future. And I think that's, at least when you look at, when a coach is like, okay, so what groups do you actually really have like down pat? You look at what? Really nothing outside of Cam Ward, right? There's no room that is like fully put together, except for maybe the safety room. If Kevin Winston can start to have a good second half of his rookie season, we know what he can do, certainly from his draft profile. Like, I think this is a guy that you can say, hey, next to Amani Hooker, this is going to be a staple for the next 2 to 3 years in your head coaching regime.
I wanted to put Kevin Winston on my list, but I couldn't.
Who'd you have ahead of him?
Jim DK. Same reason.
Yeah, I think, but
but here. Yeah. This is what, like, I wanted, like, Kevin Winston and JC Latham were like the next two for me. Mm-hmm. But I picked Jim DK because we've seen it. We have proof of concept. And guess what?
Are you referring to the last game, the proof of concept there?
What, in one game? And the whole season, all 7 of the return stuff. Because guess what's not going away? The change of the influence of the kick return game. Like, that used to be a throwaway thing. For a decade plus, kick returns irrelevant. Who cares? Just take the touchback, whatever. But now that's a football play. And you have somebody in Chim Dike who is a weapon, and now you're looking at another guy that you're seeing can also, he's so raw, like he doesn't know how to run routes yet, but he's able to make plays with a football in his hands. He's got that pure speed. Like Dike has done more than Kevin Winston Jr., and that's why he was my tiebreaker of Chim Dike over Winston Jr., because playmaker, right? And I was going to have the same explanation for Kevin Winston Jr. if he was on my list. So I'll just say, you're just like I said with Gunnar Helm and Cedric Gray, you want to know you have a foundational piece, a staple on that level and that area of the football team on offense and defense. You want to know you have a guy who can be explosive. And Chim Dike is explosive. Kevin Winston Jr. is explosive as a safety. But I've only seen a couple snaps of Kevin Winston in a real game. I've seen Chim Dike be explosive. So I think you're selling this future coach on, look at Chim Dike do this. He's just getting started. There's so many things we can do with this guy and that you can do with this guy. It's just begun.
I hope you're right. Like I hope that is something that can continue. First of all, I need to point this out. Kendall says DK has put up 20 plus in my fantasy for all but 1 week. Like, I assume that means that you're playing some weird, stupid return yards thing, because I maybe I am a hater. Sure. Like, I don't know how much, like, once again, Chimere Dike relies on the other 10 guys on the field in that special teams room to make a lot of that work. And I'm not debating that this guy has the speed and the playmaking ability to do that on special teams. But I think we're jumping the shark here a little bit when we're 7 games in and we're saying that this is the wide receiver on this team that we're going to pitch.
It's just playmaker. But like,
he's got 13 receptions for 96 yards and a touchdown.
No. But it's not just that though. He's a playmaker. Daniel's not wrong. He's had 2 touchdowns wiped off.
Sure. I mean, that's fair. But once again, right? Like, that will continue unless the Titans have a solid special team unit around him.
I think Bones Fossil, here's a good thing. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm projecting what is the typical deal in the NFL. Bones Fossil, I doubt, signed a 1-year deal to become the special teams coordinator with the Titans. So he's still under contract. I would guess the incoming head coach, whoever the hell it's going to be, is going to be like, yeah, hell yeah, give me Bones, especially if it's Mike McCarthy.
Yeah. So hopefully he would stay around, but I have to. I mean, this is where and this is not.
There's no way Bones Fossil's on a 1-year contract, so he's under contract. So you've got it. Yeah. You don't have to fire him.
I just agree with Jeff. This is where I am. He is a returner as of right now, and people are saying like, oh, JT is just watching stats. He's a returner. That's nice to have. It's not, I don't think that's like, that would be like, listen, and this is going to be a hot take, but like, that's like telling Ben Johnson last year in that room, like, hey, we got Tyler Scott as a returner. Like, he's your returner. He can make big plays when he wants to, but like, that's like what, 6 times a game? We've been
6 times a game? 7 times a game? How many times are receivers? I mean, that's impacting the game a lot, though, guys. And like, we have to update our brains. We have to update our brains. The kick return is now valuable. Field position is important. If you have Chim Dike, how many times has he busted it and gotten beyond the 35-yard line this year on a kick return? Several times. I don't know exactly. He's had a couple like 50, 60-yard returns that has helped the Titans put up points directly. If you don't want to kick to Chim Dike, fine. Take it to the 35-yard line. So just the threat of Chim Dike being there gets you to the 35-yard line. Like, this is we have to update ourselves, because this kick return rule is changing the way the sport is being played right now. and it's just going to get more creative. And Chim Dike is good at
it. If that's the fifth most valuable thing
That's
on
the
this
problem.
roster,
That's the problem, JT.
like I
Who
don't.
else? Like you got Kevin Winston Jr.'s played how many games, and he's your fifth.
Yeah, because I think he plays a position that's going to be much more attractive and more stable than what Chim Dike. Like I
Chim Dike is a
understand,
playmaker for you,
right?
an offensive playmaker.
He's never going to be more than wide receiver 3 on this team.
That's fine, but
we're saying that's the number. That's the fifth most attractive thing on this team.
Because
right now.
well, you're not putting Alec Manor yet because you don't know. Like he's been
I wouldn't
right?
put any.
You're not doing Calvin Ridley because of the contract situation. I'm doing that.
Certainly.
Who else are you doing? Like the problem is there are no other options.
I would put
Who else? You're not putting Tony Pollard?
I would maybe like Chim Dike is in that discussion at 6. Like I think I'd put Gunnar Helm. I'd put Gunnar Helm over Chim Dike. I would start to have a conversation about, do I still put T'Vondre Sweat over Chim Dike?
Nope, you don't know. We don't know if Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker like T'Vondre Sweat.
No, There's I know. That's what I'm wrestling with. But I still am I'm still going to say that is more that is still maybe more attractive than the kick returner who's a wide receiver 3 and is going to maybe hit one play every 2 weeks.
I think you're vastly undervaluing what Chim Dike has done for this team so far. He has kept them alive at times. Like I'm not even joking. Like that's not hyperbole either. He has literally kept them alive at times.
Yeah, David says wasn't DK special or NFL player of the week? No, special teams player of the week.
Well, like think about this. Like he had the big touchdown that got everybody juiced up in the first quarter to go up 10-3. Didn't last, right? But he had that big play. I can remember at least twice. He has had a big kick return to put them in field goal range where the offense got a field goal where there's no shot they would have gotten points otherwise. He is putting points on the board. And he's had 2 touchdowns wiped off by penalties. And I remember the punt return that was way back was kind of a questionable call. It wasn't and it had nothing to do with his ability to break that return or not. It was irrelevant for his skill set to make the play. So he is putting points on the board. There's not a lot of other people who are putting points on the board directly outside of Chim Dike that you can trust in moving forward. Alec Manor has not continued to progress. Chim Dike is doing this. Alec is more flat. He might be high. He might have started higher than Chim, but he's flat. Chim is upwards. And that's the whole exercise. You are pitching a coach on Cam Ward, Jeffrey Simmons, plus 4 players. Right now, Chim Dike has one of the biggest net positive scores on the roster.
Yeah,
I'm not wrong.
I mean, you're not. I just think that's
that's the state of the franchise.
It's sad. That's sad that is and people are going nuts for that guy. That maybe I'll go back and change my opinion on this, but I think he's had 2 60-yard returns and then a bunch more that have gotten you to midfield.
One of the 60-yard returns was right before the half and you stole 3 points. Certainly. One of the 60-yard returns was right out. I think it was in the Cardinals game. No. I forget. Maybe it was the Cardinals game where you got 3 points right after you gave up a touchdown. And he just got you in field goal range and you went 3 and out and kicked the field goal. That's what he's doing for you. And again, it's the future of the kick return rule. It's just going to get better.
Yeah.
Because we can go through some comments here.
I just did quick math. Currently, Chim Dike has returned 31 kickoffs for 816 yards. That's 26 yards per return. So
it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's fine. It's good. It gets you to the 40, to the 50. Is that more impactful than your lineman keeping Cam upright to then take what he did and continue
the lineman
down.
who has not been able to keep Cam upright. Like, I mean, that's the whole point, though. He's been sacked 30 times. Like, no, Peter Skoronski's on our list, right? But like, it's not Dan Moore, it's not Lloyd Cushenberry, it's definitely not Kevin Zeitler, right? He's not here next year. JC, you have him on the list. I don't, because he's battling the hip thing, and Cam hasn't been upright. Cam's fault and the O-line's fault. That's just that. I think Chim Dike is one of your best sales pitches on your explosive ability moving forward.
That's sad. And I'm sorry, Titans fans, that is what you have to get hyped for.
Now that Tyler Lockett's gone and Chim Dike is going to get more offensive run.
Right. Okay. That's where you can get me. If Chim Dike can then fit in the slot, because that's where he's going to go, and continue to do what he did in that first half last week, I'm in. I need to see more on offense.
For sure.
For me
I think that's part of my thing too, is like, it's just getting started. He's already been a big positive for you without the offense. Now you just added the offense in there. And I think Chim Dike is one of the fastest rising stocks on the roster. So you can't deny that.
Certainly.
Because they're in a bad spot. So, all right, we got comments and we got super chat to get to, going through the five players that are most attractive outside of Cam Ward, for the Titans' next coach. But first, before we get to your comments and the super chat, I'm going to tell you guys about Barton Drury Insurance Group, customized solutions for all of your insurance needs, bartondrury.com. You can go check them out. That's where Zach and I have turned to them for all of our insurance needs for our company. They helped us out with our workers' comp, our employee benefits as well. It's a big deal that we've added to our resume in 2025 for hiring, is that, yes, we offer health coverage, and Barton Drury helps us out supply that. And they do all the work for us, all the leg lift for us, it's off our hands, which is fantastic. They're great partners as well. And then they can help you out quite a bit, whether it's your home, your auto, your bundled, your umbrella, your insurance, your renter's policy, 401k planning. If you want to get financial future involved, they can do that too. They're a one-stop shop for all of your insurance needs. Check them out, bartondrury.com.
Yeah, also one more shout out to our friends over at BTA. We got games tomorrow. Like you said, Chargers and Vikings should be a good one. Use that code ATOZ14 when you download the BTA Sports app to get a 14-day free trial before a weekly subscription of $9.99. Use the link in the show description where insight meets instinct. BTA Sports.
All right, so Jeff says, Austin, if DK is getting a lot of chances to return kickoffs, that means your defense is ass and giving you your points to allow that. It's nice to have. Yeah, I agree. I'm not lost on that either. The reason why he's leading the league, part of the reason why he's leading the league in all-purpose yards is because he's returning a lot of kickoffs because they're giving up a lot of scores. So I'm not an idiot, Jeff. So I know that, but he has also helped you he's put points on the board. And that's a tough thing for this team to do right now. Jeff says, again, imagine if the Titans had drafted a JSN like he had said, instead of Peter Skoronski. I mean, JSN is a beast right now for Seattle. And so that would have been the Peter Skoronski draft. So, I mean, should the Titans have taken a wide receiver at 11 that went at like 20? I don't know, maybe, but in hindsight, yeah. But you also, if you didn't have Peter Skoronski right now, what would your offensive line be?
That'd be
that you have to have, like, you can't do without Peter Skoronski. So JSN would be just frustrated. Titans Kyle says, Cam, Iron Man, or Helm, and Skoronski. He went way more than 5. Which, I think he went 5 or he went 9 total. I guess he added Cam in there. So Iron Man, or Helm, Skoronski, and DK, Gray, Jeff, Sweat, Winston. So a lot of crossover there. Hashtag QJ went Simmons, DK, Winston, Gray, and Sweat. That's a lot of defense right there. DK being the only offensive guy. So no Pete there. Rashad says Jeff, Alec, DK, Helm, Caps, Simmons, DK, AO, Sweat, and Gray. Daniel says Simmons, Gray, DK, Ironman, or Skoronski. Vanessa went with DK, Helm, and Sweat. Orlando, Jeff, Helm, Chig, if he stays, which I don't think that's going to happen. I doubt it. Io and DK. Jeff says Ellick, Helm, Spears, Skoronski, and Simmons. I mean, Tajay Spears is somebody we haven't talked about. Yeah, I've seen him a few times in comments.
He's not he's not a needle mover for me.
No, I like Tajay a lot, but it's just not. He hasn't stayed healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He and Tony Pollard each have 1 year left on their contract in 2020, being 2026. So that's not like a sales pitch. It's a good thing to have, but not something you're sticking your neck out there for the future. So there's a lot of people are saying the same group. I think if we had a consensus, it's definitely Jeff, Skoronski, Helm, or
Gray.
Gray. You think Gray is a consensus?
Like I guess
from the chat.
Like I feel like people just kind of forgot about him because when we started talking about him, everybody's like, "Oh, that dude's a dog." Like I think people just forgot him.
He's got plenty of votes.
Yeah.
So
like, is the consensus is Cam, Simmons,
yep, Skoronski,
Simmons,
Helm,
Skoronski.
I know Helm wasn't on your list, but he's on a lot of chat lists.
I don't mind that one, I guess.
You don't mind Helm being on there?
No. If people, I mean, like, he's just like a guy that I think maybe the inverse of this conversation, like, I still need to see more from. But
you had JC as your third after Jeff and Peter, and he's not on many lists.
Tackles, I mean, listen. You drafted a high tackle. They don't grow on trees. You gotta. He's important to this team in making these things work. So
yeah, if I had 7 to pick from, JC would be on the list with Kevin Winston. So if you had, who are your 6 and 7? Would it be Helm and DK?
Helm, and then once again, like Sweat, maybe. Like if your top options, which we'll get so into this, but my leading man, if I had to say like who I wanted who my pick would be Sala or it'd be Flores. I think Sweat means a whole heck of a lot more to them than DK.
Yeah,
or Helm.
I think Sweat depend. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It depends on which coaching candidate you're talking to.
Yeah.
So,
but the list is Simmons, Skoronski, Helm, Gray, DK. Outside of,
for me,
just like as a consensus.
Oh, yeah. Most popular: Simmons, Skoronski,
and
Gray, Helm, DK.
Yeah, and JT says he hasn't seen enough from Helm and DK, but has Winston Jr. was, if he wasn't hurt, his last year at Penn State would have been a top. He would have been a top 40 pick. Like the potential is there. DK, Helm are 4th round rookies who were healthy and played. Kevin Winston, coming off an ACL, has the intangibles that draft experts and NFL staff alike all said during the draft prospect he would have been a top 40 pick. Like the Titans got a steal there, and it's going to take some time, but I think he is absolutely a guy that you can build on.
Kevin Winston is the 3rd pillar of the defense. I think for the years to come, it's Jeff, Cedric Gray, Kevin Winston Jr. Kevin Winston Jr. is a beast. I just want to see more of it.
Yeah. And hashtag QJ says that's college. That's all. Like, are we going off 7-game sample size for a guy's whole career? Like,
sure. I mean, like, his training camp was like, oh dang, this dude can bowl, and then he kind of tweaked something, and they kind of sat him down. So, but he is legit. In the training camp practices early in camp, you're like, damn, this guy is flying around. He's everywhere. So, all right. Are you ready for a little trivia action here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Might need to turn that alarm off because we're blowing right through that. So here we go.
I think I've started turning it off before the show because I know it's gonna go. Yeah.
Time for some trivia. Here we go. Wilson County Hyundai. WilsonCountyHyundai.com is where to go. Make them a part of your new car buying process. Pain Bone will help save you some cash on your new ride. You can trade in your current one for the new one as well. They'll help you out with that process at Wilson County Hyundai. Okay, JT, are you ready? Let's do a little screen share action. Let's see how smooth this can be. I'm starting now, which mine usually is delayed. So we'll see how this works. Okay.
Nice.
Not too bad. Not too bad. Let me get to where I can see the chat and the screen here. So as we wait for Orlando, and Ann is ready to go.
Ann is here, so that's good.
Ann said that's good. Okay. The board, as I'm still looking for Orlando's over under if he's here.
He was here earlier. I don't know.
For NFL, college football, NBA is a good draw for me personally. Books, not so much. So, and chain restaurants, it can be a good. Yeah, I haven't seen Orlando today yet. All right, here we go. Let's just say 4.5 is our over under. That's what Orlando.
Oh, I didn't turn it off today.
JT,
Well,
you almost cost us time.
Sorry. Or okay, yeah.
Are you ready?
Sorry. Yes, I am ready.
Let's lock in. Clock starting now. Okay. After going to high school in Belgium and serving in the Army, 6'9" Alejandro Villanueva was on the Steelers.
Yep.
Books. This famous 1861 Charles Dickens novel depicted the education of an orphan named Pip.
It's Great Expectations. Had to read that in college.
I did not. Television. A hit with viewers and critics. This HBO Max miniseries, Task, debuted in 2025.
Oh, I just started. I started watching
Marvel
this last night.
Actor. Who?
It's Mark Ruffalo.
I don't like him.
Yeah. I mean, I literally started that show last night because my roommate's been all over it.
A mass killer targets high schoolers on the evening of a big school dance in this 1980 slasher film that starred Jamie Lee Curtis and Leslie Nielsen.
Got no idea.
Yeah, I'm out on this one too. So we'll have to Scream.
Scream, maybe. Halloween. I don't remember there being a prom in Scream though.
Prom night. Halloween and prom night are getting a lot of.
I don't think there's no prom in Halloween.
Not Scream. People are saying Halloween.
There's no prom though.
Oh, it's wrong. You guys are wrong. What rapper was featured on Rihanna's 2016 hit song "Work"?
What is it like? Drake, maybe.
Drake, yeah, Drake's getting.
Oh, Drake, yeah.
All right, chain restaurants. What major fast food is currently collaborating with Frank's Red Hot Sauce on special edition of his chicken strip products? I don't know.
KFC. It's my guess.
Okay, we know it's gonna be prom night, so we'll come back to prom night.
Okay, we'll come back to prom night. Cool.
So
Zachary says KFC. I have no idea. I just
Taco Bell says and
it's Taco Bell.
Okay.
Ann's the GOAT.
NBA in 1994, a critically panned 2D martial arts fighting game was launched on the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis with this NBA player as a star player in the game.
Shaquille O'Neal in Mike Tyson's. Forget what Punch Out.
Punch Out?
Yeah.
College football. QB L. Robertson was a running threat, totaling over 2,800 rushing yards and 40 rushing touchdowns for this Big 12 school from 2000 to 03. Big 12. I do not know this off the top of my head. We have to.
Bearded Kunu says Kansas State.
Kansas State.
K-State.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, he's got the Kansas State logo, so I agree with him.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Ooh, my goodness.
Boy. And may not be helpful because this is not attractive.
Darren Sproles is quarterback for.
I got no idea.
Shout out to having multiple K-State fans in the chat.
Yeah.
This looks like a
The woman from
troll character on Harry Potter or something.
Kurt Russell, Mona Lisa Vito.
The guy looks like they do look. Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, and then that's the second time I've seen Kurt Russell.
How you spell? Am I misspelling Marissa?
Tomei.
Oh, one S.
Mm.
And
Kurt Russell is what people are saying. Yeah.
Double dip. We're going prom night. Boom. All right. 421. Right. We hit the under 4.5.
Yeah. Hey.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Shout out Taco Bell for Ann, because that felt like a miss. I felt like that was an upcoming miss. We were going to go with like a chicken place, not freaking Taco Bell.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like KFC or something. Like,
yeah,
Taco Bell is chicken strips, and they're Frank Red Hot chicken strips.
I don't know.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
Stay
well, I mean,
lane.
Ann has spent like 2.5 hours in a drive-through at Taco Bell before in her life in one sitting, and then she's been in the drive-through yesterday. All right, so yeah. There you go.
All right, there we go. Hey, that's it. That's a trivia victory. Even if we use the double dip, trivia victory here on this Wednesday. JT and Easton will have trivia round 2 tomorrow after the show, at the end of the tomorrow show. But make sure you guys hit that like button, like the show before you go. Subscribe to our channel. A lot of great content throughout the rest of the season, even if the team stinks. We've got a coaching search to walk through. We'll have a lot of topics, kind of like today. We get to like forecast forward. But thanks guys for watching. Buck Rising live tonight for A to Z Sports Primetime. We'll see you tomorrow morning on Thursday. Appreciate it as always.